Hello race fans and welcome to round 5 of the V8 Supercars ShawFire series hosted by MotorMotion. ShawFire, our sponsor, they provide unique solutions to your signage and display needs. From business cards and stickers to factory signage and vehicle wraps, they can make you stand out. So make sure you visit www.shawfire.com.au. the official and proud sponsors of MotorMotion. In the commentary box tonight, we have Nick Pautasso, who will be joined by Andrew Scott later tonight. We're at round 5, Sardegna Road B. We're having 34 laps around here with 12 turns to navigate. One lap is 3.8 kilometers long. The grid has been set as we get prepared to go through the order. In first place, we've got Van der Zart, second Brun, third Kutscher, and fourth Rushton. In 5th place we have Robinson, 6th place Mario, 7th Austin, and 8th place Rick. In 9th we have Sampson, 10th Burgess, 11th Britnell, and 12th we have Dylan Scarborough. Rounding out the field we have Piers in 13th, Mark Scarborough in 14th, and Benjamin Blaker rounding out the field in 15th. Make sure you share us with the hashtag #LightItUp so we can see you supporting us on the socials. Tell your friends as we pass over now to the official commentator of the Johnson Lobby, Nick Pautasso, who will be joined later by Andrew.
Welcome everybody, good evening for this momentous occasion here at Sardegna B, here in the Italian scenery, where we're going to be bringing you some great racing here for 34 laps, as I've now just been joined in. So we've just come in, unfortunately who is our main pilot, the pilot of Qantas, actually missed his connecting flight to get to Italy, so he's having to do a live broadcast from his home in the northern beaches. So welcome along, Ando, and a pleasure to have you.
Hey guys, yeah, sorry I'm late. Flight was late. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you loud and clear, my friend. So we're bringing you around 6 of the Johnson Lobby. We're very excited to get this underway. Actually, round 5. I do apologise. I'm getting myself over the moon here, but we are in for our 3, 4, 5 lights. Unlight on pole, Squirrel in second place. Lights are out. Green flag racing. So IMAT's got a beautiful start. Grill onto the ends, going around the outside lap. Going into turn 1, still neck and neck between Mustangs and Camaros. And then again, we have Ruzzy and Kutch 426 going into turns 1 side by side. But it looks all clean, Stevens, between 1st and 16th place. Doesn't look like any major incidents with the drivers this evening. So everything looks relatively clear. So we see a couple of cars down the back there that's actually got into a bit of a tangle over there. We'll find out who that is very shortly. But the man that is leading the championship, Osto 101, after a brilliant victory at Road Atlanta, he's sitting nicely in 5th place. Well down the order a little bit compared to where we normally see him, but he's got a lot of cars to pass. He's got his main contenders in the championship, in Kutch in 3rd and Evan Squirrel in 2nd place.
It looks like a nice clean start. It's a tricky track this one, but isn't it? Very technical. A bit tough for the Mustangs, I hear.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got a couple of it's funny enough that we have a Mustang here, but he goes a little bit too wide going onto the entry there.
Dirty tyres now. He's going to be a sitting duck, I think.
So on the exit of turn 9, and it's actually gone wide again. So the CP driver in IMAT, who got pole position, a brilliant pole position, he was 6/10 clear of the first Camaro.
Oh, that could be a penalty too.
Squirrel 18, and he drops down into 9th place. He might lose out to Madrick in 10th. He might just hold on to it, So from 1st to 9th in a span of quarters.
He's going to have dirty tyres into turn 1. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Down to 9th. When he was in the lead, he got a clean start. He just made that one mistake. Manages to hold on to 9th there. So this could be a bit of damage control for him now. He can hopefully settle in and get a rhythm and work his way back through the pack.
So very unlucky for IMAT in 9th place after he was taking a beautiful pole position there, but he's behind the It's Racing driver, Ritz Lightning 55 in 8th place, so really good starting for him as well. So he started well outside the top 10, but he's up into 8th place very nicely. And then he's got DP Mario and then the 2 Diffusion Racing Engineering Mustangs, the Model O Mustangs, led by Robbo, and then his team boss right behind him in 6th place. But Squirrel for Gridline Racing leads the way. Ruzzy's hold on to 2nd, and Kutch has now made a mistake there on the back end going through turn 8. So Kutch has made a huge mistake. So the championship contender for Osto 101's championship lead is now down into 12th place behind his teammate in Roddy Dongs in 11th. So horrible starts by the front two runners there, and as drivers are starting to try to negotiate around this track, and even Riz Lightning is having troubles there. And there's a car spun on the background there. I'm not so sure what that is. I believe I saw a blue and white car. That could have been, I believe that could have been the CP driver in IMAT, but I'll have to make sure. It is. So 15th place, IMAT is in 15th and last place, or actually second last place, led by Isa Nephill and Benjamin Blake in 16th. But wow, 2 laps, and you go from pole to 15th. Not a great start.
Yeah, that's he's got damage, but that should clear. Yes, it's cleared. Back, he's going to have to gather himself up here, and he can still salvage a good result because he's obviously got great pace, and he's in touch with the pack, but he's lost big time there, and lots of places. He's got his work cut out for him now.
Yeah, you could definitely say between him and Squirrel in first place, that looks to well easily be about 17, 18 second gap that he's got easily. So IMAT's, spun the car around, faced the other direction, and he's got a long way to go. So it'll be very interesting to see where he finishes at the end of lap 34. But it's a big task for IMAT to get himself back up to the front. But right now it is Squirrel 18 that still holds onto that lead. He's got himself a very comfortable margin over Ruzzy, the first of the Mustangs for Rushfire Racing in second place, and then Osto, the championship leader, in third place, with then DP Mario in fourth. Hellblazer's just gone past his teammate at Robbo Sport in fifth, and then Madrick doing a very nice job there for Jack Daniel Racing in seventh, and then Marty as well, also holding on very nicely. So as we go on board with Marty McFarty, as you can see, the drivers ahead of him, he's got a whole bunch of cars in front of him. He's got a few Camaros, he's got a lot of Mustangs, so the Camaros leading the way. Ruzzy the first of the Mustangs, so it's quite even here at the Johnson Lobby.
Yeah, good to see a good mixture of Mustangs up towards the front, and it's now about that time of the race where they're all settling into their first stint, and it's going to be interesting to see what strategies play out. What do you think is going to be some of the strategies we might see today, Spud?
So I'm definitely thinking we're going to be looking at about at least I think the tyres around here are actually not too bad compared to the fuel rates. You're actually using a lot of fuel, but you're not using a lot of tyres around this track because it's very fast, very flowing. A couple of major braking zones that you have to negotiate, but other than that, it looks quite good. So we're looking at about, I don't know, maybe we could look about 10, 11 laps on a tank of fuel. So we'll have to wait and see what Marty McFarlane can do, but he's really pressurising the Jack Daniels, a racing driver in Madrick. So he's doing really well. The driver from Jack Daniels in 7th place, and Marty McFarlane is going to go thinking about a move there. No, he's a little bit too far away, but he looked like he was going a little bit deep into that corner.
He's there or thereabouts, but he's definitely enjoying a nice slipstream there, so he'll be saving fuel, and he might be happy just to sit there behind Robbo for now.
Absolutely, and Madrick set himself a good lap time there, so everyone's settling in into the 1 minute 19s. Kutch with the fastest lap for the 1 minute 17.7, but he's well down the order. He's actually moved himself back up into 9th place after dropping down to as low as 12th after he made his incident on the back in Sector 3. So Kutch on the recovery drive and looking to try and find any way to get past Osto 101 at the end of this 34 lap race, because they're only separated by 2 points, Endo, between Kutch and Osto 101. So it's all to lose for Osto, but Kutch needs to make himself present and up the front of the field.
Yeah, we're getting to the pointy end of the series too, so every point counts, every position, every place in the field counts here today. Every little mistake you make could come back to bite you, so let's hope Kutch can have a clean race from now on and work his way back up towards the podium.
Absolutely, so we can see IMAT is recovering up into 12th place, so he's doing himself a really good job there, obviously capitalising on driver mistakes there from Fly and Uncle Mark. So he's working his way up behind the It's Racing driver. Oh, I guess very taily there. So I can tell you from experience, the car is very taily when it loses traction there, Ando. And yeah, the car just doesn't want to agree sometimes with you. So you just have to pray sometimes.
That's how you have to drive it, isn't it? As he looks to draw alongside the Camaro, but the Camaro's got the grunt down the straight. But the Mustang's got the braking. Does he send it through? He has a go. And Brits holds on around the outside though, so really good driving there from both cars.
Yeah, Brit's doing an amazing job there for the It's Racing Esports. Kamara, so unfortunately his team boss in It's Racing, Jarman Dales, couldn't withdrew his entry into the ShawFire Supercars series and then gave that spot up to Griffin, who's up in the Brock lobby. So obviously the two It's Racing drivers putting on a show.
Yeah, and I'm at there with a beautiful move, a little switchback into the right-hander, and he dove in there beautifully. That was clinical, that overtake there. That was really nice driving. He's obviously...
I definitely call that a CP Motorsport driver move there. So the CP drivers wait for opportunities to come.
He pounds.
Absolutely pounce
Great
on it.
Move. Yep, as he starts to gap Brits already, so he was obviously being held up by Brits a little bit there, so he had to do something, and he decided to give it a go after weighing him up, and he just clinical move. Great job.
So going back up towards the front, we see Osto's actually made a move on Ruzzy. So Ruzzy's dropped down to 3rd place. So now Osto takes 2nd place, but there's a whole gap of cars just lining up to make a move on Osto, while Squirrel just runs away with the lead already on lap 7 of 34. He doesn't even look like he's going to slow down whatsoever. But Osto has made the move on Ruzzy, and he's going to try his best to pull away from the pack behind him, because he's got a lot of cars. He's got Ruzzy, he's got DP Mario from Intercontinental Esports, and then he's got the 2 Diffusion boys in Hellblazer and Robbo. Well, there's a bit of a gap between Robbo and Madrid in 6th and 7th place.
Let's see what Osto can do now. He's got some clear track ahead of him. He's got reasonable tyres, still looking okay on fuel, and we'll see how he goes here, making up some ground on Squirrel. Don't count Osto out for the win here just yet, folks.
Absolutely not. He's won 2 in a row. Has Osto 101. Joel Austin, the leader and the team boss of Ned Racing. He wants to try and make it three in a row. He wants to make the hat trick of victories in the Johnson lobby, and he'll be doing his damnedest to try and catch up the Squirrel. The Squirrel, at least, has got himself almost about a 5.5 to 6 second lead there, and by looking at it on the track, maybe even more there. So the gap that he's got to Osto is incredible. So this pace.
He's down on fuel though, so I hope he can make it to that perfect window for the pit stop. But he's got plenty of tyre left compared to Osto by the looks of it. So looking good on tyres. It'll just be a matter of fuel. He's a bit down on fuel compared to Osto.
Yeah, we've noticed a lot in the Johnson lobby that with drivers like Osto and Kuch 426, they both seem to be using a lot of front tyres compared to the other cars around them. That you see the Mustangs using a lot of the rear tyres because they're just trying to get that traction down. But yeah, we've noticed a lot of disparities between cars and their tyre wear. So I don't know about you, like obviously you're kind of like the king of tyre saving as well as Drill Scotty. So what is it about these cars that really, encourages your mind to say like, right, it's not all about pace, it's all about just trying to save tyres and go for those extra couple of laps?
Yeah, the setup plays a big part in it. Obviously, Osto's setup there is hurting the fronts a little bit. Your brake bias obviously comes into it as well, but also your driving style. So you don't want to have those tyres screaming for mercy around the long sweeping corners. You want to have nice quiet tyres in those sections, and mainly brake bias and a little bit of suspension settings can help with evening out that tyre wear front to back.
Exactly, and then he's got 3 Mustangs right behind. They look to be quite a lot better there. They seem to be a lot better on their tyres this time out compared to where they were at Road Atlanta. Road Atlanta, they were really making those tyres screaming and squealing a lot. As Hellblazer looks for an inside move on DP Mario, unfortunately doesn't make the move. So DP Mario making the switch from Rushfire to ISA is doing a brilliant job up into 4th place. Could have potentially had a top 4 last time out at Road Atlanta. Unfortunately, his big crew were missing a set of tyres, and DP Mario had to do a double stint on already worn soft tyres at Road Atlanta, which is not really the track where you want to be doing a double stint. Which is the same that we saw with Kuch 426 at the end of the Grand Prix as well.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Those pit crew members would have been a tail between legs at the end of that race, that's for sure.
DP Mario, he's a man on form after being unfortunately being let go by Rushfire into Continental Esports Racing. Managed to get his signing and grab him because he was one of the hottest free agents as he looks for a move on Ruzzy. Ruzzy is going to defend from his former teammate. DP Mario is going to go side by side. Rushfire versus Intercontinental. So the two former teammates going side by side, going to turn one, but Ruzzy just holds on into third place. DP Mario just has to wait and sit patiently in fourth place. But a great battle between former teammates, and Ruzzy is definitely, going to say to him, look, you left the team, but I'm not giving you my position whatsoever.
No, good driving there from all drivers concerned. Mustang on Mustang, right on the limit there, braking into turn one. And no paint swapped, so the livery guys will be pleased about that. And it's race on, but Ruzzy's, he's managed to stay ahead and now gap DP Mario a little bit here. Driving well.
I don't think we're going to need ShawFire to be wrapping any cars anytime soon. All cars look to be relatively, but maybe except for IMATS, he's been a bit of a wear of war, so he's just sitting inside the top 10. Then we see at the back there, we see Kuch trying to make a move on Madrid, going into turn 9 and 10. Or turns 8 and 9 rather. So Madrid just running a little bit wide on the exit of turn 11, going to 12 and 13. But Kuch just holding on. It takes a little bit too much grass on the inside, so hopefully that doesn't trigger a penalty on the Black Rose racing driver. Looks like he's gotten away with it. But yeah, Kuch is really trying to push that car to get himself back up to the front, and so far inside the top 8.
Yeah, and is that Ruzzy getting close back up to Osto again there for second place as well? I think I saw maybe he was getting pretty close to Osto. He's in his slip.
Yeah, he's in the
so
slip.
Osto might be leaking a bit of oil here. His fronts might be hurting him right now. Let's sneak on board with Osto and see. Oh, look at those fronts. The front left and right. Ooh. So he's suffering. I think he's leaking lap time here. He might have to pull into the pit soon.
And you can see his fuel tank as well. He's got a lot more fuel compared to Ruzzy. We just saw Ruzzy go into the red, and Osto's got at least another good couple of laps in him, but his tyres are not going to last whatsoever. So we'll wait and see what Ruzzy does. See if Ruzzy sticks back with Osto and does the extra lap. Maybe you do a bit of lifting and coasting and a bit of fuel map 6 on the Mustang, but we'll wait and see what Ruzzy does, or maybe potentially even go for an undercut, because an undercut around this track is very strong. And with Osto's tyre wear, that'll definitely put him into a great position at the end of the first stint.
Yeah, I think we're in the window here, so Osto might be into the pits here, and because he's got that more fuel, he might...
No, he stays out.
Stays out. Ruzzy's in. Interesting. So Osto stays out with worn tyres.
5 litres, Hellblazer on 16. So Hellblazer's done an amazing job on the fuel saving. The diffusion and racing engineering got themselves a really good engine and a really good gearbox to help with the fuel saving. So we may even see Hellblazer jump Ruzzy into pit lane. We'll keep an eye on that as they exit pit lane. But Kuch is now back up into 5th place after the few drivers making a pit stop. And then we see IMAT right behind. So IMAT's really trying to make some inroads. He's using a lot more fuel compared to the other drivers, but you can definitely tell he's pushing that car, and he's pushing that CP car back up towards the top 3.
Yeah, he'll be in this lap, and DP Mario's right back up on the bumper of Osto now too. So Osto's really suffering a little bit on those worn front tyres now, and DP Mario is right under his rear wing. They'll be in this lap surely. So we're going for the 2-stop strategy today, I think. 3 even stints of about 11 or 12 laps. Is all they need to do, so no need to do any more than 12 laps. As Squirrel's in with 8%.
Yeah, so Squirrel's in, the leader of the Johnson Lobby on lap 12 of 34. He's coming to the pit lane. We'll definitely see Osto come into this lap unless he goes for another one. No, he doesn't. So 9 litres versus Squirrel's 8 litres. So both roughly matching each other on the fuel burn. So DP Mario on 3, Robbo coming in with 0%, and IMAT, who's usually known to have really good fuel and tyre saving, like we saw at Road Atlanta, he's only coming with 1%, and then Roddy Dong's in position 7 with 4% of fuel. But we'll keep our eyes on the drivers such as Hellblazer, who's actually made the jump into 10th place there, so he's done a really good job. He's made the jump on Ruzzy. Yes, there it is. So I just wanted to confirm that. So Hellblazer has jumped Ruzzy, but where does Hellblazer come out? There's a driver coming out ahead. That is Osto 1 on Kuch 426. He's going to make the move on Kuch. Will he make the move on his teammate? No, he doesn't. So he holds on to 5th place. Ruzzy's the biggest loser out of this, and he's dropped out of 7th place.
Yeah. So he's maybe. He hasn't even filled up his tank, but he's obviously got enough for his next stint.
Oh, move for Kuch and on Hellblazer. huge dive. I just saw that in the foreground. Kutch goes for an ambitious dive bomb move. Hellblazer's going to serve him back here, and they're going to go side by side, wheel to wheel
they're
racing.
swapping paint, folks. That
Short
could have been
fire,
an
do we
inches,
think-
but they're side by side now down the bottom straight.
Oh, ShawFire's going to be getting onto their markets very shortly, but Hellblazer takes back the position there. Great aggressive racing by Kutch and Hellblazer. Hellblazer runs a little bit wide there, getting compromised. Kutch is going to go for the outside move.
It's not over.
Kutch goes around the outside.
Can he make it stick? He has.
Looks like he's made the move. There it is. So Kutch, a brilliant move there on Hellblazer. So both going hammer and tong. The Camaros and Mustang 5th and 6th place. Hellblazer just unfortunately has to surrender that position now. He's come under pressure for a look at this pack here.
Wow.
We're almost going 3 cars. So even Marty McFarlane is getting involved. 4 wide, nearly 4 wide with our drivers. This is incredible. And even IMAT's getting involved. 3 cars, 3 wide. Oh my goodness, I was thinking about a potential 5 wide with these cars. That is unheard of.
Obviously, yeah, some cars on cold tyres that pitted late, and some cars with warm tyres that pitted a lap or 2 ago. So that's creating awesome battles here.
Absolutely. So we've got some big winners here. Marty's come through out of nowhere in 6th place. Madrick as well. The biggest losers have been Hellblazer and even Ruz even. IMAT's just trying to get himself back involved in this battle pack as well.
Someone's into the fence.
That is Madrick in the wall there for Jack Daniels Racing. Something happened there. We'll have to make sure we...
got Taylor out of that downhill right-hander, and he just got a bit too eager on the loud pedal, I think. I think he did that himself.
That's unlucky, and Hellblazer just runs wide on turn 8 as well, so he dips a wheel onto the gravel. IMAT makes a move on Ruzzy to position 8. IMAT's getting a little bit out of shape here, so the Mustangs are trying to battle each other out. Well, unfortunately, when they battle each other out, they're letting the other Mustang, Marty McFarlane, run away in 6th place, but unfortunately, they've got themselves a huge gap to try and catch up to Kutch. And Kutch has obviously made that move well and truly clear on the previous lap. And yeah, you can definitely tell with those battle packs on the previous lap, it's really helped Kutch extend his gap over Marty and even Hellblazer.
Yeah, he's checked out. He found himself some clear air, and he's obviously put together a few good corners, a good lap or 2, and he's got a nice gap to the cars behind, and he's now making ground, I think, on Robbo ahead of him.
Yeah, he's taking a little back into some ground there on Robbo. So as we take a break from the front runners, let's have a look down towards the back. So the ones that we can see a good battle pack happening on the back on the pit straight here. So we'll have a look to see what that is. Looks like Benjo's just pulled into the pit lane. Not so sure what's going on there on his end, but we have Flyboarding, and then we have Uncle Mark in 14th place, Birch in 13th. So it's a nice battle pack for 13th place, but unfortunately with Bruce Lightning in 12th place, he's definitely checked out and been holding on to 12th. We'll try to make some inroads on Madrick, who made a crucial mistake on the exit of turn 5. Whether he got tagged or whether he ran wide himself, we'll find out once the stewards have done their investigating. So it actually has been noted in the stewards room there, that there is an incident in turn 5 between Madrick and a few drivers.
Yeah, not surprised. He did have some very, very close company when he spun, so there could have been a little help there with that little accident he had. Gets it all crossed up under braking there. He just went a little bit too wide and heavy on the anchors, and he's dipped a wheel on the outside into the sand, I think. So has he got damage? I don't think so.
Damage from it, yeah.
He's given himself some damage, so he's going to drop back now. That's cost him a couple of spots.
All I'm going to say to that for Birch is ouch. That would have hurt a lot.
It could have been a lot worse, though. He's gotten away with it, as we see the scars on the front left bumper there of that little tangle with the Armco. Looks like he's come off second best.
Absolutely. So unfortunately for Birch, he's just down into 15th place. He's got a bit more work to do as the replacement driver to DP Mario.
Oh,
he goes for a move on Flyboarding.
He has missed his braking point by the looks of it there, and he's tapped Fly wide. Hopefully there'll be a redress coming, but that looked like just a mistake there from Birch. Obviously a little bit of the red mist after losing 2 spots, and he got just too deep under brakes there. He had nowhere to go. He was just a passenger on his way to the scene of the accident, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, a bit of a hint of frustrations for Birch after making that mistake, just like you pointed out. But as we look up towards further front, we can see Bruce Lightning holding on nicely into 12th place. Now the battle pack has settled down, so Bruce Lightning just holding on. He hasn't got cars in front or behind, so he's just running his own race in 12th. and then Madrick in 11th with Roddy Dongs in front of him in the top 10. So Roddy Dongs, after starting in position 15, is up into 10th place. So not a bad drive for Roddy Dongs. So that's a great effort for him. And then we have the unfortunate contenders in Ruzzy and Hellblazer, where we saw them up in the top 5, and they're now 8th and 9th place. And that's just been a horrible second stint on these tyres and this race.
Yeah, the pit stop, when they came out of their pit stop, they came out in traffic, and the battles ensued that we saw, and that's obviously cost them a bit of time, unfortunately, and they'll be looking to maybe get some spots back with a better pit stop for their last stint.
Clearly, Marty's just in 7th place, so he did get overtaken by IMAT. So IMAT's in 6th place. Marty just drops a position into 7th. So nice recovery drive for IMAT after starting on pole position. And then we have Robbo Sport, who's just lost the position now to Kuch 426, like I've just seen there. Yes, so Kuch has made the move on Robbo Sport. So this is a very good comeback drive here for Kuch in 4th place. So he was well down the order in 12th, and now he's in 4th. So he's done a remarkable job to get that Black Rose Racing 426 back up inside the top 4. He's got a bit of a gap to try and close up to DP Mario, but DP Mario and Osto, they are very close to him, and never say never.
Yeah, Kuch and IMAT have both had some pretty good comeback drives. So I think I saw IMAT down in 15th there at the start of the race. I'm sure it was 15th, so he's gone from dead last back to 6th on track. So great recovery for him, and same for Kuch. He'd be happy with where he's sitting right now after his start.
Absolutely, and then we just see Squirrel up the front just checking out. He's well and truly in the lead of this. So the Gridline Racing driver finding a bit of form after winning the first round at Red Bull Ring, and then having a few little struggles here and there at Dragon Trail Seaside. Even though he took pole position there, he struggled a lot to get that car working around there on lap 2, making a huge contact on the back straight at the end of the S's, and then it's just been a bit of a struggle streak for Squirrel, but it's good confidence for the man. That was your championship leader at the end of round 1, and hopefully this will be the new quest for him to move himself further up into the championship and get himself into contention.
Yeah, his tyres are looking good. Look at that. He set a purple lap on lap 16 with a 170. He's now comfortably doing 118, so he's sitting pretty. This is his race to lose, folks. He's definitely separated himself from the rest of the field today. That's for sure. With the pace he's got.
We can definitely say he's doing an Ando. He's doing an Ando for sure. So just checking out, running away.
You don't want to let him get to the lead, do you? He just disappears.
Yeah, exactly right. So Squirrel's doing a very good job there. It's good to see that Gridline Racing car back up the front, and it's good to see Squirrel and the helms of the car 18 and putting it in first place on lap 19 of 34.
Yeah, great to see. Squirrel, or aka Jeff, he took a break from racing. He took a break from Gridline Racing for quite some time. So he's just recently come back in and joined the team, back with his old mates. I know he and Scotty are really close mates. And I actually, funny story, joined Gridline Racing. That was the first team that I joined when I got into league racing. So I got a bit of a history with the team as well. But it's really great to see Squirrel back and driving so well.
It's good to see that team evolving as well. They're getting themselves into the Supercars Championship. Even now, potentially, they could be getting themselves more recognised now with the nation's manufacturers, and even getting themselves recognition in the MotorMotion E-Series. We'll wait and find out as we get ourselves underway in a few weeks' time for the GT3 Championship. That will be sponsored by Player One Sim Racing. So we're excited to have these guys on board for the GT3 Championship. But obviously until then, we still have our ShawFire Supercars, and ShawFire does a great job getting these cars out on track, getting them ready, and putting on a spectacle for us here this evening. We're on lap 20 of 34 as we run down through the grid. Squirrel in first, Osto and DP Mario still battling it out for second and third, but there is Kuchando. He's caught up massively, so he'll be pressing DP Mario's rear wing pretty soon over the next couple of laps there.
That's for sure. He's pushing for a podium. He wants to get up there on that podium and give himself the best chance of fighting for a championship win with only a couple more rounds left to go, isn't there, Spud?
Absolutely.
This one.
Next time out, we will be at Deep Forest Raceway in Switzerland, so we can't wait to bring you guys the racing on the Tuesday night. Obviously, with the delayed coverage, we hope to bring that as quickly as we can But yeah, Kuch 426 is definitely going to be wanting to get that championship lead back. Because apparently, from what I've heard with his team boss in Jimmy, he says he absolutely hates the yellow. He loves the orange. He hates yellow. So, and I've been saying to him in the paddock, it's just like, well, the banner for the ShawFire Supercars has a yellow bottom layer, and he says, I don't care. I just don't like yellow. So he loves orange more than yellow. He loves orange more than yellow, so that's what he's trying to will his driver, Kuch 426, to push that car up towards the front and get himself ahead of Oster. It's only 2 points separating those two drivers, so any move done here by Kuch over Oster will get him back that orange number in the championship lead. Looking into the background there, we see RoboSport and IMAC going in for a nice battle there. So RoboSport the lead, Diffusion Engineering, so not a spot we'd normally see Robo in as he defends from IMAT. IMAT feints a move on the inside into turn 8, doesn't make it, but Robo's been a man on form as well, so since making the move to Diffusion Engineering, he's done himself a really good job getting a podium last time out in Red Bull Ring, and then a few consistencies inside the top 10, unfortunately having a few bad races, but Robbo putting on some really good job, but IMAT really pressuring the back end of that Diffusion Engineering
right now. He's going to have to take the inside line into turn 1. He's going to defend. IMAT's got the run. Looks like IMAT's maybe running a little less downforce or different gearing. He's got a speed advantage as they hit the braking zone. IMAT's going to go around the outside and Robbo yields. And
Robbo
puts a tyre in the sand, but yeah, IMAT with a great swooping move around the outside of turn 1 at Sardegna. That is not easy to do, Spud, is it?
No, absolutely. And he actually got that done before the braking zone, so he actually got ahead of Robbo as they were braking. So IMAT's got a really good setup, good braking performance in that CP Motorsport Mustang, and he's back into the top 5 where we saw him as low as 15th place. And there we have Kuch actually make a move on DP Mario. So Kuch has made the move, and he's on the podium positions. And now look what he's got in front of him, Ando. He's got the championship leader, Osto 101, who looks to be struggling a lot this time out, so he's not able to catch up to Squirrel, as we've seen Osto being up towards the front pointy end in first place in the last couple of rounds.
The front tyres are expiring on him. He's still got to do another lap or two in this stint on those tyres. They're looking a bit better than the first stint, but he's obviously losing pace as Kuch draws in the slip. He's got a run on him, does he? Into turn 1, is he going to have a go? Might not be
very bold. It'll be bold before Kuch make a move.
Is he going to send it? No, he decides to lift, get out of it, and live to fight another day. But something tells me it won't be long before he's right on the hammer of Osto again, looking to make a move.
Absolutely. So if we look on board with Osto 101, let's look back at the rear wing of the net racing driver. As we look back, you can definitely see where Kuch is gaining. He's gaining a lot in that braking zone, and especially into these long sweeping corners. He's got a lot more traction compared to Osto. Osto's a little bit slower when it comes to the throttle, but you can see Kuch has got a good run here. He's going to start thinking about making a feint move into turn 8. He brakes the same as Osto, but Kuch is showing the nose, and DP Mario is not far behind as well. And then look who's in the background as well. There is IMAT in 5th place. So he wants to make a charge. He wants to make a comeback after starting on pole position.
Now, who's going to try an undercut? If someone pits this lap, they could get out on fresh tyres, and the undercut could really work now for Kuch, I reckon. If someone tries, even DP Mario, is someone going to try it? And we've got Mario. Let's see what he can do, because a fresh set of rubber, your outlap, if you employ hammer time, you could he could gain a spot or 2 here.
Yeah, absolutely. He had to come in no matter what. He was on 1% of fuel. RoboSport on 7, and then Marty on 3, and Hellblazer on 9. So Hellblazer going for a little bit longer, but unfortunately that drops him down well outside the top 8.
Yeah, DP Mario might have to. The undercut might not work for him now because he's going to be down on fuel compared to those 2 cars ahead of him. They still had plenty, so they'll need less fuel when they pit.
But it looks like DP Mario's got clear air, and there you go. So if we cut back to DP Mario's actually got clean air. Unless there's a move coming here for Kuch and Osto going side by side into turn 8. Kuch shows the nose, and he's going to get the move done. He's going to give Osto a bit of room, and there comes IMAT. IMAT wants to get involved in this.
They go side by side. It's not done yet. This is not over yet.
And it looks like Kuch has got the move done. He has. So Kuch, before the pit stop, has made the move on Osto 101, and IMAT wants to get involved as well. So IMAT, out of nowhere, from 15th all the way up to P4, they're all gonna come into the pit lane as we see Briz Lightning, unfortunately, make a mistake on the exit of turn 13.
Yeah,
and
now
wow.
Cooch and Osto have just cost themselves big time there with that battle into that hairpin at the bottom of the hill. So let's watch for DP Mario here. He is in the box seat to come out in net second place once the pit stops are all said and done. As he comes around the last complex, he's got nice warm tyres, he's fueled up to the end, and he gets a clean exit there onto the straight. Let's see where they come out.
So it looks like Osto's finished up with his pit stop, so has Kuch. So Osto back into second, Kuch in third. So Osto's done a bit of a strategy with his fuel there. So unfortunately that undercut did not work for DP Mario. Obviously warmer soft tyres will actually get a little bit more, will get an advantage over Osto and Kuch in the opening few corners. But then once those soft tyres heat up, then yeah, you can definitely see these battle pack raging on. But we do know Osto's struggling on those front tyres. Same with Kuch. DP Mario, I think between those three, has actually got better tyre wear compared to the Camaros up in front.
Yeah, it looks like DP Mario might have overfueled there, unfortunately. But Osto and Kuch, just being better on fuel, have managed to stay in front, and the status quo has remained after the pit stops are all said and done. So DP Mario, though, with the warm tyres, he's back. He's remaining relevant there. He's going to be in the slip, possibly down the main straight.
Yeah, and then he's got IMAT to get him to hold, to fend off as well. So he's going to try and bring his Mustang companion up towards the pointy as we go on board with Kuch 426. He's looking on board and into the rear wing of Osto 101. He's got fresh tyres, so does Osto, but Osto's going defensive going into turn one. Kuch is in the slipstream. He's going to look to pull out on the outside. Will he feign a move onto the inside? No, he's just going to hold on to the brakes there, so it's sticking behind Osto. But then he doesn't want to stick behind him too long, Ando, because then you've got the Camaro, then you've got the Mustangs behind, and DP and Matt ready to pounce no matter what.
Yeah, we'll see what the pace is, but he probably knows Osto's going to be slow at the end of the race, like he has been on every stint. So Kuch might be just looking after his tyres, looking after his fuel, and just biding his time before he pounces towards the back end of this stint.
I wonder if Kuch has been listening into the broadcasting there, where Kez and I, we always point out that the Black Rose Racing, both cars both suffer on front tyre wear, and obviously they must have been able to go back to the drawing board, try a different setup, but so far it's actually worked for Kuch, and he's actually getting better tyre wear compared to Osto, who's really shredding the front tyres. So the Ned Racer has to really hold on to keep P2 at the end of this race. We've only got ourselves about 8 laps to go until the end of this race. We have Squirrel leading, Osto second, Kuch in third, DP Mario and IMAT inside the top 5, Robbo and Marty, the two former teammates years ago for Scarborough Motorsport, in 6th and 7th place, and then Ruzzy in 8th place, when unfortunately we don't see Hellblazer in that top 8. So Hellblazer's just, his day's just gone from bad to worse. Kuch looks for a move, he sticks the nose in, gets chopped off by Osto 101 there. Kuch runs onto the gravel trap. That'll lose him a bit of time and a bit of confidence over the next couple of corners, but he's there, Ando. He wants to make a move.
Yeah, he's got to be careful though. If he drops out of the slip of Osto in front, he's got two fire-breathing Mustangs to contend with in his rear vision mirror. So it's going to be a real risk-reward scenario here for Kuch. Is he happy with third, or does he want to send it for second?
He needs, I guess for him, he needs to make the moves on Osto if he wants to get that championship lead back, because they're only separated by 2 points. Kuch has to make that move on Osto if he wants to get back that orange number, that orange 426 on that Black Rose Racing Camaro in third place.
Any sort of mistake and loss of 2 spots, if he drops off the podium, that's going to really hamper his chances in the championship. So he's going to have to put his thinking cap on and do a little risk management analysis here and decide whether it's worth it or not to go for that second spot.
Absolutely. So big we've got a quick couple of battle packs there. The two Camaros just pushing each other forwards while the two Mustangs behind are just working together. They're not really making any inroads on the Camaros just yet, but it's still not long to go before they're down the road. Squirrel's still eking away that margin. He's pulling that margin further and further away, and that setup on the gridline racing car is just incredible. And Squirrel's taking full advantage.
Yeah, he has checked out. He's starting to lap slower cars now, I think, by the looks of it. So he has gapped the field here. He's put on a clinic today. His tyre wear looks amazing. His fuel state looks good. He's circulating in the 18s and 19s, and pretty consistently. So that is fantastic pace for the Johnson Lobby. That's hard to compete with.
Yeah, 100%. And Squirrel's done an amazing job there. But as we look back down through the field, let's look outside the top 8. So I believe we have Hellblazer in 9th place, and then we have, I believe we have Madrick recovering into the top 10, and then Roddy Dongs in 11th place, a little bit further away from the field, and then Bruce Lightning, as we just saw, get lapped by Squirrel 18, unfortunately. There's a bit of a lag moment there for Squirrel there. He almost disappeared back to Australia. And then we have Burge in. We have Burge in 13th place, and then Uncle Mark 14th, flyboarding after being hit off by Burge on the previous laps in 15th, and then unfortunately Blaker in 16th, last place, retiring that car, and just sitting and holding that last spot in 16th place.
Yes, that's obviously some sort of mechanical they've had there in the ISA Mustang. So unfortunate, bad luck for that team.
But as we look back down the field there, I see IMAT's actually made a move. So he's actually made the move on DP Mario. So we'll have to keep our eyes back on this battle pack. DP Mario's lost a lot of ground there. So if we look back to DP Mario's, he's got himself a 1 minute 20.3. So something happened to DP Mario on the lap that we're looking down through the field. He must have got either a penalty or he must have made a mistake through the corners. We don't know yet. Unfortunately, the game doesn't give us any replays. We wish we could give you replays, but unfortunately we can't. So we don't know what happened to DP Mario.
Yeah, but IMAT there, he was purple in the previous sector, so he's obviously on a charge. But he's gotten by DP Mario, and he's left him behind actually now in his wake. So he might be looking to move up to the podium before all is said and done.
I wouldn't count it out, but here we go. The battle pack that rages on. The two championship contenders in Osto 101. The championship leader, Kuch, in third place, second in the championship.
He's a lot closer now. He's going to have a go.
He's locked deep on the brakes.
Can he pull it up? He does.
Makes the move stick.
Makes the move stick. Nicely done.
Excellent work there by Kuch for 26. A brilliant recovery drive there for Kuch, and he's done an amazing job to get that car back into P2. And now all he can do is just run away, because he knows for sure Osto's not going to be able to hold those tyres on for the next 5 laps here. Rando, he's gone purple already, and by about 0.2 of a second over Squirrel's lap time.
Yeah, he's already looking to get to break the slip from Osto here. Osto's having trouble just hanging on.
He's already done it. He's well out of the slipstream. Kuch is flying in second place. So him being held up by Osto before the pit stop. And Osto's made a mistake there. He
gets all crossed up, but he holds on to it. He's lost a spot though. He's off the podium.
Oh wow! So he's lost the position to IMAT. IMAT's getting very taily in the Mustang. Osto's looking to make a move on the inside, trying to go catch back up to Osto. Unfortunately, that's not able to be done with IMAT in third place, and Osto goes from second to fourth at the end of lap 30. Oh my goodness. Hopefully this is not the fall for Osto with his tyres, and he's going to be struggling to even keep DP Mario at bay. He might even drop into the fringes of the top 5.
Yeah, he's only got to do 11 laps, I think, on this set of tyres, so if they're not looking too bad for now. If he can just gather himself, he can just avoid losing any more spots, and he's got 5 laps to go, 4 laps to go. He's not out of touch with the podium just yet. He's got half a chance to get back and challenge for a podium.
It's obviously judging by his performance today. It hasn't been the best performance that we've seen with Osto 101. He's done a brilliant job, don't get me wrong. He's done a brilliant job with the defending and holding his line. It's just unfortunate the pace that we haven't seen with Osto at St. Croix and at Road-of-Lens. It just hasn't turned up here at Sardegna B, unfortunately. So he's got a bit of work to do when we go out to Switzerland next time out for the Deep Forest Raceway Grand Prix.
Yeah, he'll need some testing with the engineers there, and he'll have to come up with a setup that suits that track, and hopefully he can push for a better result in the next round. But he's had a couple of wins already, hasn't he, this season? So he's
done back to back.
He's at the pointy end of the championship, so.
Yeah, and unfortunately that orange number on the NEN race is going to go back to the Black Rose Racing Camaro in Coach 426, but it's not over yet. We're only about 3 laps to go in the ShawFire Supercars series, with Squirrel 18, the lead Camaro, leading the way ahead of Kutch, and then the first of the Mustangs, Imat, who took pole position in 3rd place. So ShawFire Supercars brings out some brilliant liveries here for us at MotorMotion E-Series, but obviously going throughout the past weekend, we've actually seen the real-life Gen 3 Supercars bring out their liveries. So any standouts from what you've seen so far in pre-testing?
Look, I'm just a DJR fan from way back, so I'll always go for the Shell Racing Team boys any day of the week.
Yeah, the cars do look a lot better than what they looked in the so-called Mustang Falcon, looking like Gen 2 car of the future. So they look very different, look very weird, but it does look nice on that Gen 3 Camaros. They can definitely tell the biggest shock will be Walkinshaw and Dreading United going from Holden to Ford, switching brands and going to the Mustang. But the cars actually look really nice there. So the Mustangs on the Ford WAU was looking on fire. So hopefully we can see those guys challenge Red Bull Racing in the Camaros in the championship. They're going to have a big year in the Repco Supercar series.
Exciting times, folks, with these Gen 3 cars. First full-blown season with those cars. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. I think the racing's going to be a lot better.
Yeah, absolutely. They've found themselves to bring back closer racing, just like what Formula One did last year out with the new gen cars. It's definitely proven to be the case. So hopefully Gen 3 and the supercars will be able to bring closer racing. But don't worry about Repco Supercars. We're here for ShawFire Supercars. We've already done it, Ando. We're already here. We're already racing. So
we're going to move here into turn 1. I think he got the job done there.
No, he didn't. So he sneaks back behind Marty in 8th place there. So we can say we've already done the racing, mate. So the Gen 3, have a look at us. We're bringing the
top places for sure. That's right. Everyone else is copying us.
That's right. Oh, that's great. But as we look back towards the front, Squirrel on his final lap is coming through onto the start-finish straight for the final time. So in clear, dominant fashion, Squirrel 18 in 1st place, and then we have Coach 426 in 2nd, coming across the start-finish straight now. So we're getting a few round of applause for the Gridline Racing driver in 1st place, and then we have Kutch and Osto. So Osto's actually recovered. So Imat's actually lost 3rd place, as we were talking about.
Oh, and 4th.
And 4th.
So he's had
yes. You are correct.
Very unfortunate. He's dropped off the podium after working back from dead last. He got himself back onto the podium, but he's just had on the penultimate lap a little whoopsie by the looks of it, and he's let 2 cars pass, and he sits there in 5th. It's not over yet though. He's right on the hammer of DP Mario.
Absolutely. And unfortunately, I'm sorry, I'm getting word here, Ando, that Gridline Racing is suffering a mechanical failure on the last lap as well. So something's going on with the Gridline Racing car. Oh, as we see Imat go,
it's all happening here.
It's all happening here, and we see the Gridline Racing driver going very slowly onto the pit straight here. So something's going on with the Gridline Racing.
He's inside the finish line. Can he get it?
Yeah.
What's he? He's had a failure. He's had a drivetrain failure.
It's a drivetrain failure. It is. And you could just see the checker flag. He can't get it.
He stopped the car.
He's trying to unstrap the belts and get the car out, but there are cars flying everywhere. It's very dangerous to do that.
He's yellow flags are waving.
There is Kutch. And Kutch has taken the victory for the Johnson Lobby, as we see Osto and DP Mario come 2nd and 3rd. And then we see Imat will take 4th place, but Squirrel 18 is
he's going to get out and push it. Push it over the line, mate. You still get 5th.
I can see him getting out of the car right now, and he's trying to push that Camaro through, but he can't do it because all the cars are flying through. What has gone on?
He has had some sort of drivetrain seizure, and he cannot even get that car to move 1 inch. So he's going to come. He's going to be last.
Don't tell me. don't tell me he's going to finish outside the top 10. He has, so he's in 10th place. Madrick is coming up towards the back straight right now. There he is. What has gone on? It all looks so good for the Gridline Racing driver and Squirrel in first place. A dominant victory, but all of a sudden the drivetrain just exploded on him. We heard radios, some panic radios over the intercoms, and it sounded like it definitely sounded like Jeff for sure. I definitely know what his voice sounds like after the last few rounds. But my goodness, a drivetrain failure.
Just a tragedy. As we see the checkered flag being flown there, and he's just within a car length of the finish line. And that's just a tragedy for the team and for the driver.
This is incredible scenes here, ladies and gentlemen. This is something we've never seen here in the ShawFire Supercars. We've never seen a car drop down so low and even have a drivetrain failure. I never knew it was possible, Lando, but hey, Squirrel's demonstrated that a drivetrain failure here on the Gran Turismo platform has become a thing, and unfortunately it's cost him a victory, and worse, outside of the top 10.
Yeah, you wouldn't dream of it. You couldn't write this up. I mean, he couldn't even grab neutral and keep rolling. The car actually pulled up.
Oh, there it goes now. So they've done something. So he's actually got that car working again, but he's got into 14th and it's the third last place. So the victor, which has shocked us all, and is Coach 426 of Black Rose Racing.
So not only has he regained the lead in the championship, he's got the win.
He got the win, he's got the championship lead there, but look at Osto. He's in P2 out of all this, so Osto hasn't lost ground at all. DP Mario in third place gets his first podium in the ShawFire Supercar Series, and that could have definitely been going to IMAT in fourth place there. What happened to IMAT on the last lap there? We will never know. He made a huge mistake going onto the long right-hander, the sweeping hander of turn 5, and go all out of shape there. But the previous lap, he was sitting pretty in third place, Ando, and something happened to him. Hellblazer with a nice recovery drive up into P5 there, so he's actually done well to get that car up inside the top 5. And then Ruzzy, Marty McFarty, and RoboSport in 6th, 7th, and 8th place. As we look down the rest of the field there, we have Roddy Dongs in 9th, and then we have Madrick inside the top 10. But my goodness, what a story.
Drama aplenty at Sardegna.
This is incredible. In all the years I've done my sim racing and all the years I've done the commentary, that has got to be one of the most shocking things I've seen in the ShawFire Supercar Series. A drivetrain failure for Gridline Racing, what looked to be a dominant victory, as we saw the team bosses getting ready to run out of the pit lane, but then they heard an emergency call from their driver, that lead driver in Squirrel 18, calling for something going on with the car. And wouldn't you know it, it just stopped, and he couldn't get out.
Absolute panic stations there in the Gridline garage on that last lap, and there was absolute pandemonium there as they tried to come up with some way to keep that car rolling, but obviously they just couldn't do it.
No, absolutely not. So something really something to investigate upon, and hopefully we might be able to get a word in with our Gridline Racing drivers and also the team boss. But obviously, as we see there, we're trying to get our pit reporter down there, but they're just fending their way. They don't want to talk. There's no comments at all. But obviously that is one drama that we're going to be investigating on throughout the week. But also the next one is also Kuch 426 taking the victory out of nowhere and regaining the championship lead back. So the orange number will be going to the Black Rose Racing Camaro. And I think for the driver of the day, Ando, I'm definitely going to give that to Kuch 426. A remarkable comeback drive after being as 12th place and putting in the consistent laps, quality laps, you could even say, and getting a P2.
I'll give that to him. I agree. It just goes to show, folks, you just never give up, even if you have a shocker of a start, you have a bit of a schmozzle. You can just put in good lap after good lap, try and get some clean laps in, and you never know your luck.
100%. And even for IMAT as well, a brilliant recovery drive as well, with 15th out of 16th and finishing up in 4th place. We could have been a podium for IMAT and on the second race out for CP Motorsports after debuting at Road Atlanta. So it could have been a debut podium, a debut pole position after 2 rounds, and almost got a podium. It's very unlucky for IMAT, but DP Mario as well.
Yeah, great charge back through the field for IMAT, and just unfortunately there on the second last and the last lap had a couple of moments in those battles with DP Mario, and he just finished outside the podium. But well done to DP as well, Mario. Great drive for him to come in third, wasn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. P3 for DP Mario, and against Continental Esports are cheering. We can definitely see the scenes down there at ISA. You know, they were happy, they were content with P4, but all of a sudden, as we saw Squirrel not cross the line, he actually stopped at the start-finish straight, very much like a Jamie Whincup did back at Winton in 2014. He had a drive shaft failure as well, and that car just did not go anywhere. We just heard a massive explosion and bang, and that's the exact same thing that we saw with Squirrel 18 this time out at Sardegna B.
Yeah, I mean, ecstatic scenes down in the grid. Sorry, the ISA garage there. I think there might be a few bevies flowing tonight there in their garage with that podium from DP Mario.
100%. So on behalf of myself and Ando, I mean what a great way to make your debut in the Johnson lobby there with all of that. So it's great to have you. Great to have you in the commentary box this evening. And,
fantastic. Yeah, it was exciting stuff. Johnson's where it's at by the looks of it.
Absolutely. Kez and I have been saying it all along. The Johnson lobby is where all the racing's at. It's where all the hard-fought battle racing is, and we are going to have ourselves a titanic battle for the championship next time out at Deep Forest Raceway for the Swiss Grand Prix, bringing back the Grand Prix racing in Switzerland for the first time since 60 years ago, where we saw Grand Prix racing in Switzerland. So it's going to be a first for the ShawFire Supercars, and it'll be great to see some cars going around the track in Switzerland. So, but until then, on behalf of myself, Nick Pautasso, and Ando787 in Andrew Scott, thank you for joining us this evening for the Johnson Lobby for round 5 of the ShawFire Supercar Series. We'll see you guys next time out at Deep Forest Raceway.